Learning with London and Lennox. Hi, that's me, London. And that's my baby sister, Lennox. We are going to be sharing information with you about developmental milestones. 2-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Calms down when spoken to or picked up. Looks at your face. Seems happy to see you when you walk up to her. Smiles when you talk to or smile at her. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Makes sounds other than crying. Reacts to loud sounds. Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Watches you as you move, looks at a toy for several seconds. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Holds head up when on tummy. Moves both arms and both legs. Opens hands briefly. 4-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Smiles on your own to get your attention. Chuckles not yet a full laugh when you try to make her laugh. Looks at you, moves or makes sounds to get or keep your attention. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Make sounds like ooh, ah, cooing. Make sounds back when you talk to her. Turns head towards the sound of your voice. Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. If hungry, opens mouth when she sees breast or bottle. Looks at her hands with interest. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Holds head steady without support when you are holding her. Holds a toy when you put it in her hand. Uses her arm to swing at toys. Brings hands to mouth. Pushes up onto elbows for arms when on tummy. 6-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Knows familiar people. Likes to look at herself in the mirror. Laughs. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Takes turns making sounds with you. Blows raspberries. Sticks tongue out and blows. Makes squealy noises. Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Puts things in her mouth to explore them. Reaches to grab a toy she wants. Closes lips to show she doesn't want more food. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Rolls from tummy to back. Pushes up with straight arms when on tummy. Leans on hands to support herself when sitting. 9-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Is shy, clingy, or fearful around strangers. Shows several facial expressions like happy, sad, angry, and surprised. Looks when you call her name. Reacts when you leave. Looks, reaches for you, or cries. Smiles or laughs. when you play peekaboo. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Makes different sounds like mama, mama, ma, and ba, 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 ba. Lifts arms to be picked up. Next, we will cover cognitive, learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Looks for objects when dropped out of sight, like her spoon or toy. Bangs two things together. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Gets to a sitting position by herself. Moves things from one hand to her other hand. Uses fingers to break food towards herself. Sits without support. 12-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Plays games with you like patty cake. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Waves bye-bye, calls her mama or dada or another special name. Understands no, pauses briefly, word stops when you say it. Next, we will cover cognitive, learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Put something in a container like a bra and a cup. Looks for things she sees you hide, like a toy under a blanket. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Pulls up to stand, walks holding onto furniture, drinks from a cup without a lid as you hold it. Picks things up between thumb and pointer finger like small bits of food. 15-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Copies other children while playing, like taking toys out of a container when another child does. Shows you an object she likes. Claps when excited. Hugs stuffed doll or other toy. Shows you affection. Hugs, cuddles, or kisses you. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Tries to say one or two words besides mama or dada, like ba or ball or da or dog. Looks at a familiar object when you name it. Follows directions given with both a gesture and words. For example, she gives you a toy. When you hold out your hand and say, "Give me the toy," points to ask for something or to get help. Next, we will cover cognitive, learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Tries to use things the right way, like a phone, cup, or book. Stacks at least two small objects, like blocks. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Takes a few steps on her own. Uses fingers to feed herself some food. 18-month-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Moves away from you, but looks to make sure you're close by. Points to show you something interesting. Puts hands out for you to wash them. Looks at a few pages in a book with you. Helps you dress her by pushing on through sleeve or lifting up foot. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Tries to say 3 or more words besides mama or dada. Follows one-step directions without any gestures, like giving you the toy when you say, "Give it to me." Next, we will cover cognitive, learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. copies you doing chores like sweeping with a broom. Plays with toys in a simple way, like pushing a toy car. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Walks without holding on to anyone or anything. Scribbles. Drinks from a cup without a lid and may spill sometimes. Feeds herself with her fingers. Tries to use a spoon. Climbs on and off a couch or chair without help. 2-year-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Notices when others are hurt or upset, like pausing or looking sad when someone is crying. Look at your face to see how to react in a new situation. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Points to things in a book when you ask, like where is the bear? Says at least 2 words together, like more milk. Points to at least 2 body parts when you ask her to show you. Uses more gestures than just waving and pointing, like blowing a kiss or nodding yes. Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Hold something in one hand while using the other hand. For example, holding a container and taking the lid off. Tries to use switches, knobs, or buttons on a toy. Plays with more than one toy at the same time, like putting toy food on a toy plate. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Takes a ball, runs, walks, not climbs, up a few stairs, with or without help, eats with a spoon. 2.5-year-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Plays next to other children and sometimes plays with them. Shows you what she can do by saying, "Look at me." Follows simple routines when told, like helping to pick up toys when you say, "It's cleanup time." Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Says about 50 words. Says 2 or more words with the one action word, like doggy, run. Names things in a book when you point and ask, "What is this?" Says words like I, me, or we. Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Uses things to pretend, like feeding a block to a doll as if it were food. Shows simple problem-solving skills, like standing on a small stool to reach something. Follows to step instructions, like put the toy down and close the door. Sure, she knows at least one color, like pointing to a red crayon when you ask which one is red. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Uses hands to twist things, like turning doorknobs or unscrewing lids. Takes some clothes off by herself, like loose pants or an open jacket. Jumps off the ground with both feet. Turns book pages one at a time when you read to her. 3-year-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Calms down within 10 minutes after you leave her like at a child care drop-off, notices other children and joins them to play. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Talks with you in conversation using at least 2 back and forth exchanges. Ask who, what, where, or why. Questions like, where is mommy, daddy? Says what action is happening in a picture or book. When asked, like running, eating, or playing. Says first name when asked. Talks well enough for others to understand most of the time. Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Draws a circle when you show her how. Avoids touching hot objects like a stove when you warn her. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Strings items together like large beads or macaroni. Puts on some clothes by herself like loose pants or a jacket. Uses a fork. 4-year-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. It tends to be something else during play. Teacher, superhero, dog. Asked to go play with children if none are around. Like, can I play with Alex? Comforts others who are hurt or sad, like hugging a crying friend. Avoids danger, like not jumping from tall heights at the playground. Likes to be a helper. Changes behavior based on where she is. Place of worship, library, playground. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Says sentences with 4 or more words. Says some words from a song, story, or nursery rhyme. Talks about at least one thing that happened during her day. Like, I played soccer. Answers simple questions like, what is a coat for? Or what is a crayon for? Next, we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Name the few colors of items. Tells what comes next in a well-known story. Draws a person with 3 or more body parts. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Catches a large ball most of the time. Serves herself food or pours water with adult supervision. Unbuttons some buttons. Holds crayon or pencil between fingers and thumb. Not a fist. 5-year-old developmental milestones. First, we will cover social and emotional milestones. Follows rules or takes turns when playing games with other children. Sings, dances, or acts for you. Does simple chores at home like matching socks or clearing the table after eating. Next, we will cover language and communication milestones. Tells a story she heard or made up with at least 2 events. For example, a cat was stuck in a tree and a firefighter saved it. Answer simple questions about the book or story after you read or tell it to her. Keeps a conversation going with more than 3 back and forth exchanges. changes, uses or recognizes simple rhymes. Bat, cat, ball, tall. Next we will cover cognitive learning, thinking, and problem-solving milestones. Counts to 10. Name some numbers between 1 and 5 when you point to them. Uses words about time like yesterday, tomorrow, morning, or night. Pays attention for 5 to 10 minutes during activities. For example, during story time or making arts and crafts. Screen time does not count. Write some letters in her name. Name some letters when you point to them. Lastly, we will cover movement and physical development milestones. Buttons. Some buttons hops on one foot.
Bring learning with London and Lennox into your home with fun learning tools that match this video. Visit www.healworldschool.com so you can enjoy your very own.
Visit us at www.healworldschool.com